Hi, I'm Sunny from Loreforged, a podcast about Ashes of Creation. As we move through Phase 1 of Alpha 2, we've seen a lot of very cool systems, and one of those systems is the mayor. Now, we've known about the mayoral system for quite some time, but it turns out that there is so much more under the hood of this car. There are hidden taxes, there are sliders on sliders. It is robust, and this is still just Alpha 2. So I was doing a stream one afternoon, and I started to just pepper the chat with all of my questions about the mayor system. Instead of typing out all the answers, our good friend Kreirian said, why don't I just share my screen and I will show you what being a mayor is all about. Yes, please. So, thank you very, very much to Kreirian, and I hope you enjoy this video. I ask a ton of questions, and he walks me through every aspect of being a mayor. If you had any questions, I would bet that they are answered here. Enjoy. So we're talking to Kreirian. Look at this. We did it. We did it.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Okay, Kreirian, talk me through this.
Cool. So inside the buy orders, okay, we have all of the different options going all the way up to tier 3, right? So you were talking about copper, for example. Sometimes we don't get a choice.
Oh.
So like under standard weapons here, I have copper or I got zinc.
Okay.
Both of them are hard to find as is, and everyone's using them. The only options I get are what are from my menus. So I can go to like here, or I can make iron weapons. Okay. So now we can use zinc ingots. Or
Okay, here's what I'm going to do.
like
I'm going to stop you here, okay?
Yeah.
Let's go back. So we already know about the mayoral commissions. With the mayoral commissions, that's largely done just to keep your people happy because you're going to give them buffs. It costs you a nominal fee of gold, and then you send this out into the world and you're like, here, you guys want stuff? If you turn this in, you'll get better fishing. Stuff like that. All good, right? That system I understand. Now, it's this stuff that we're talking about that I don't, like, I just want you to start from the beginning of why you do it and what it is.
Okay.
So it's got to do with buildings, right? It all
yes,
has to do
so
with
that's
buildings.
Yes, so that will start with buildings. And the first thing that we did when we became mayor was I attempted to contact all of the other mayors. That took a couple days before that actually happened. And then from there, we don't have enough plots in the game to be able to do journeyman everything. So our focus was to make sure we had apprentice everything. And then whatever we can journeyman was going to be essentially an experiment.
Okay.
So there are thousands of messages between mayors right now deciding like who's going to build what. So right now the first building that we built was the smithy. Okay. So you come in here to the buildings, click on one of the empty plots.
Okay.
And we did the smithy. So I'll select the building and it tells me what I need to make it. Okay. The construction costs are the work orders that I place.
Now, those
That's
construction costs, those are things that a normal person couldn't just make, right?
No. So those are only through the work orders or the buy orders. And they can only be done by citizens placing in those raw materials.
Okay.
So, like, for example, right here, I need, like, the 225 standard weapons or the 225 light armor.
Okay.
So, I would come into our Treasury tab.
Okay.
And create a buy order.
Because you need light armor.
Yes. So, we'll use light armor for the example.
Okay.
Okay. So, now I have options. Right?
Okay.
I can either do padded leather armor or I can do studded leather armor. And both of those require different types of resources.
Okay.
So padded leather, I get a choice between copper or zinc, just the raw ore. And then an option between a bunch of different carcasses or fish.
Okay.
For studded leather, I can do zinc ingots or brass ingots. And then a bunch of different skins or hides.
Got it. I see. So you have some options in order to determine what your citizens are most easily able to provide you.
Yep. And I can't use the same things twice without a cooldown. So, for example, I used zinc earlier.
Okay.
So I now have a cooldown, and I can't use this for any other work order until the cooldown's gone.
Got it. Okay. Let's talk about the other sliders here.
Yeah. So the first one is the node cache. Like this. So this is if you turn in a work order, you are going to get whatever the node cache I set, which goes through 1 through 10. And as you can see, as I'm moving the slider, the gold price is changing.
So on that bottom it says total what?
So that's the total reserve required. So if you look on the top right here, it says I have 243 gold.
So even though you're providing them, you're not actually providing them cash. You're providing them. Aren't you providing them like node currency?
Yes. So the node cache, the node currency, that's the purchase price. So okay.
But you, as the mayor, have to pay for that node currency through actual node from the guild, or from the node.
The node coffer, yeah.
Yes, I see. So when they get this node currency, they can only spend that node currency on certain things, like the cloak and stuff, right? Or
Yes.
pay or buy tax receipts or something like that.
So node currency, from what I've heard, you're supposedly you can use node currency to buy freeholds, like your freehold permit.
Okay.
You can use node currency to buy recipes. You can use node currency to buy blueprints for your freehold. So like if you wanted to put an alchemy station on your freehold, you have to use node currency to do that.
Got it. Okay.
We haven't seen that system in game yet, but so that's kind of all speculation still, but
Right.
that's for what I've heard.
And so if you put this to 10, then it's going to cost you a total amount of that?
Yes, so if I put this to 10, it'll, without changing any other sliders, like all base, it will cost me 3 gold, 66 silver, and 66 copper to put this work order in.
Got it. Okay.
As I adjust other sliders, so like the duration one, it'll actually make it cheaper.
Okay.
So it goes from 3 days to 8 days. For a 3-day duration, it
because
will
you
take the 3 gold.
you can't take one of these off, right? Like once it's in play until the end.
It is in play until either the citizens complete it, like for the quantity, or the duration runs out.
Right. So it's to your advantage for it to be shorter, like a 3-day run. Because then you could take whatever they have and then you could re-up it, or you'd have the nimble ability to move on to something else. But if you're locked in for 8 days, they're going to make it cheaper for you, but it's going to be more of a pain in your ass.
Yes, and because of the weekend testing, the timers on these have been running out quickly, so we've been forced to do 8 days.
Sure.
So we haven't really had a chance to test it too much for the lower amount of days.
Fair enough.
However, what we've been doing is like I would do the 8 days for the cheapest cost, and then I can adjust the quantity. So this is how many people can turn in before the work order closes.
Sure. And I assume that the more you put on there, the more expensive it is?
Yes.
Yes.
So I can put up to asking for 1,500 of these to be completed. However, we saw that I only needed 225.
Right.
Okay. My reasoning for this is I would do if I needed 225, I would put in 400. And the reasoning for that is because if I get extra, I can use it for a different building, but also buildings degrade over time. And you have to use some resources to upkeep those.
Is there a reason why you wouldn't just ask for a whole bunch and then really do things off of the duration? Let me ask you this.
That way.
Let me ask you this. If you have something, sorry, I'm going to cough here. I'm going to mute myself. If you have a work order that completes in one day, let's say you asked for 300 and you completed 300 and it closed in one day, could you then put in another work order?
So I can put in like the light armor work order.
Mm-hmm.
I can put in as many of these optional resources as I have until they're all on cooldown. So I could put like 5 light armor work orders out if I wanted to.
Oh, so it's the resources that are really limiting you.
Yes, but the resources share cooldowns with the other resources. So that was light armor, but if I go to weapons, I still can't use zinc on weapons.
Because it's the resources throughout the entirety of any type of work order. It's a one-shot deal.
Yep.
Got it.
So if I really needed light armor, like it was the last thing I needed to finish my building, I could drop all of my resources on just light armor and give citizens the option to put anything in.
Sure. Just anything you have lying around, we're going to make it into light armor. You got like Swiss cheese sandwiches. We're making light armor out of Swiss cheese sandwiches. Just every option.
Pretty much, yeah.
Got it. You're getting Graham hide light armors with copper lining. Got it. Very interesting. So to me, the duration seems, yes, it's hindered by the testing process because it's only on the weekends and you don't get that thing. But to me, the duration really is the one that you want short.
So having the duration longer makes it cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And having more quantity makes it cost more. So what honestly all of us have been doing is just maxing out the purchase price, maxing out the duration, and then limiting the quantity.
Oh.
So
interesting.
and contribution limit is just what one individual person can contribute. I'm putting it at 100.
Any reason why you'd want to limit that.
Yeah, it doesn't change cost, it doesn't change anything. So I've been maxing it out.
Yeah. So you're limiting
so really
the quantity and you're maximizing the duration on it.
Yes, because once the quantity's done, then the work order closes. And the cooldown for the materials are universal. It doesn't matter the duration. So
the cooldown for the materials is universal. So like once this work order ends, if you had zinc, for example, in this work order, you can't use zinc in another work order. But if this work order completes, then zinc is available again, right?
Zinc is still on cooldown.
For how long?
Even though the work... actually, I have to make another work order anyways, so we can find out.
Okay.
So
boy, we're watching this happen live, Snarb.
So right now I'm working on the tier 2 scribe. So one of the work orders I needed is the tier 2 alchemic extract here.
Okay, well let's talk about this. So the tier 2 scribe, talk about the buildings that you have and what it will take and what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, so for the scribe, we needed the laboratory. And for the laboratory...
And how did you know you needed the laboratory? I assume you went to try to make a scribe and it said you need the following things.
Yeah, so if you go to the empty plot, you can search through all the buildings, and when you select a building, it tells you what's inside the buildings. So when I clicked on laboratory here, it tells me it's scribe, alchemy, arcane engineering.
Got it.
So we made the building. I did work orders for both the enchanted gemstone and the alchemic concoction.
And what building did you make? You made the laboratory?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have the laboratory. It's built. Okay. Now when you go into manage building, there's the upgrade tree, which is this thing on the right here.
Okay.
It says it goes all the way up to 10.
That's a lot.
Right now we only have access to 2.
I don't know how you're going to get there.
Me neither, but we'll figure it out.
Got it.
Clicking on each of these has different construction and maintenance costs.
Okay.
So like this one right here on the top is for the alchemy lab. This one takes magic talisman, alchemic extract, bricks, standard tools, and a scholarly expansion slot.
Oh.
Okay. So I see, oh, okay, I need a scholarly expansion slot. Okay. Which requires me to build a sub building, is what I've been calling them. Because all of the artisanship buildings, they all cost 100 gold plus whatever materials. The sub buildings all cost 50 gold and whatever materials. So they're a lot cheaper to make for the node. So, okay, I came down here and I was like, oh, okay, so the factory gives fabrication, the trade bureau gives civic, school of construction gives scholarly, the memorial site gives cultural, and the farm just gives the basic vocational slot. They're all subdivided for us.
Excellent.
So
okay, so just to rewind on this whole thing, your end goal of this whole thing was to build a scribing station?
Yes, scribing station to journeyman.
Scribing station to journeyman. So you already have a scribing station, right?
So when we built the laboratory, it came with apprentice, scribe, alchemy, and arcane engineering.
Oh, so this is like the wood shop. So
Yes.
if I wanted to be a carpenter, I don't build a carpentry station. I build a wood shop, and it comes with lumberjacking, carpentry, and lumber milling. That's the laboratory. The laboratory is the wood shop.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
So now you're trying to take your wood shop and take carpentry inside of the wood shop and make that at a journeyman level. So your laboratory has a scribing station in it. You want to take that scribing station to journeyman.
Yes.
So inside the laboratory is where it tells you how to upgrade these individual things.
Yep.
That's the laboratory. And so now you want that scribe. So you're going to click on the little scribing station, scribe workshop, and go to journeyman level stuff. And you have to figure out what it takes. Got it. I'm tracking. And one of those things that it takes is that scholarly vocational upgrade. So then you go back in to your support buildings and you say, okay, and this is one of the reasons why we have two farms, right? This was the big question that spawned this whole thing is why the hell do we have two farms?
Yep.
The farm is a sub building, for example, that allows for a vocational expansion. Right there. Now, does it only allow for because you need a farm specifically for certain vocational expansions, right?
Yes. So, like, okay, if we go back to the laboratory, right?
Okay.
It specifically says I need a scholarly.
Right.
Okay. Or the smithy specifically states that I need a fabrication slot.
Okay.
Okay. If we go back to the selecting a building to like build,
Yeah.
they're subdivided. So like the factory is in the fabrication tab.
Oh, I see.
Or-
So when I'm saying vocational, I'm using that as too broad a category. Vocational is a specific one to farms.
Yes.
Yes.
So they're called expansion slots.
Yes.
And then so the farm is the vocational expansion slot, while
Yes.
the school of construction would be the scholarly expansion slot.
I understand. Got it. So I'm using vocationally to refer to all of these sub buildings, but that is not correct. It is an expansion slot that is the way that I should be referring to it as. Or at least a sub building or something like that, right?
Yeah, so the sub buildings give expansion slots. That's essentially what they do.
Right.
They also provide other buffs, but the main reason we're going to build them is for the expansion slot.
Got it. Okay, so we're back to scholarly. So you know that you need a scholarly, and so in order to get that scholarly, the sub building you need to build is a school of construction.
Yes.
And that will take up a slot in your town. And these are the things that it requires.
So, and then for getting our expansion slot for that building, we'll also get like the buffs, so the increased construction speed and a gift for craft that gives increased crafting XP to everybody that's inside the node crafting there.
Right, and that's just kind of the ancillary buffs that we kind of care about, but that's not the reason why we're doing this.
Yes. The reason why we're doing it is because we want that expansion slot.
Exactly.
So I've already built schools and construction, so we're good there.
Okay, so you already have that.
Yep.
Okay.
So now for inside my laboratory, I select my scrap station, and now we see, okay, what do I need? I'm a little behind on gold. I'm about a little over halfway for my standard tools.
Here, pause 1 second. Agron asks a question. He goes, how do you know what profession needs a different expansion slot? So we kind of went through this. It's when you're looking to build the buildings, it will say specifically, like, for example, he wants to get that thing to the scribing level 2, and so he clicks on that, and it says one of the construction costs is a scholarly, I don't know what you'd call that, a scholarly expansion slot.
That's what I call it. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how we got to this point, right? And so now now the question is, okay, we've found that we needed. What did we need? We needed the scholarly expansion slot, correct?
Yes, we needed the scholarly for the scrap station in the lab.
And in order to get the scholarly expansion slot, we had to build a school of construction. And so the School of Construction provided the scholarly expansion slot. We built the School of Construction already. That was a process already. So now we have all the pieces and we are ready. Thank you for the follow or for the subscription. And now we are ready to go ahead and build the upgrade to the scribing station.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
So we have the scholarly expansion slot. That is just one of the requirements. We now need the other resources to build it.
Got it.
So the other resources come from the work orders as well. So
right.
For this scribe's workshop to upgrade it, I would need 1,200 bricks. I need 1,200 standard tools. I need 160 books, which is a tier 2 resource. And I need 160 alchemical extract, which is also a tier 2 resource. I'm upgrading to tier 2 building, tier 2 resources. Yeah, I got it.
Now, did you, like when you said, sorry, I lost you there for the upgrading to tier 2 resources. Is that something that you selected for some reason, or is that just the cost of this particular upgrade?
That's the cost of this particular upgrade.
Okay.
So, like, if I switched over to, like, say, the Alchemist Lab, I would need 120 of tier 2 magic talismans.
Oh, so there's a tier 1 magic talisman that the resources aren't as heavy.
So this is our tier, like our resource tree, essentially.
I actually coughed and then hit the mute button. That was nice.
So the tier 1 quote unquote magic talismans is the enchanted gemstones.
Okay.
And then the tier 3 version would be enchanted weapons. So like they're all separate types of resources.
Got
but
it.
they're kind of in the same tree.
Got it. Okay. So now you need the goods to be able to build this thing.
Yep. So we saw that so I have the bricks already, so I don't need to make a work order for bricks. Okay. Standard tools. I need, what is that math? 1,200 from 750.
I'm sorry, what?
600. So I need what? 450? Yeah.
1,200 from
right.
750?
Yeah.
250 plus another 200, you need 450.
Yeah. So, okay. So I need 450 more standard tools.
Got it.
To complete this one. Okay. So I would come over to my work orders and find standard tools. See, I made one the other day already. Okay.
Okay.
So I have this work order posted. It's for zinc and granite.
Okay.
Okay. It's cool. So we're good there. Alrighty. The next part that we need is books. Okay. I need 160 level 2 books.
Okay.
Okay. So this is what I personally do.
Okay.
When we build this building, it also has a maintenance cost.
Mm-hmm.
Which costs, this is every week, is what is going to cost these resources down here on the bottom. It's also going to cost 20 books every week. So when I go to make the work order...
You don't want to get yourself jammed up in week 1 and be like, oh crap, I need to make a work order just to fill the maintenance cost this week.
Yep.
Got it.
So So when I go to make the work order, I'm going to keep in mind, okay, I need a little bit of a buffer for the maintenance costs.
Got it. This makes sense.
So then
this is a good idea. This is a prudent mayor right here.
So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to find the books, wherever the books are. So here they are. They're under luxuries, and there's the tier 2 books. That's what we're looking for.
Okay. So you got two different recipes. Yep.
So now I'm going to figure out what's more available. Right.
Sure.
So we can. So it looks like only Weeping Willow is available.
That's not great.
That's the only choice I got.
Got it. What about the other recipe though?
The other recipe is ash planks. So that's much easier to get.
Hey, that's awesome. Look, there's oak planks in there. Oak planks, ash planks. Yeah.
Eastern hemlock, western larch. Okay, cool. So oak planks,
awesome,
and ash planks are the easiest things to get in this entire game right now.
Yep.
So we're gonna go with one of those, right? So
hell, I can give you those. That's easy.
Okay. Now we need to figure out. Okay, over here. This is the second resource.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one says silk bolt, linen bolt, spider silk bolt, or cotton bolt.
Yeah,
okay?
That's harder.
I know nothing about weaving.
Right.
Okay, I don't know what the resources required. I don't even know what it costs to actually build these items at the moment. Right. So this is where I would go and talk with somebody that actually has weaving leveled.
How hard is it to actually acquire this stuff? And Adgron in the chat says, cotton. Piece of cake. Let's do it. Right? Cool. Cotton is the ash plank of weaving.
So yes, we got ash plank and we got cotton bolt now. So there we go. Those are the easy ones.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to be, okay, so this is a priority for me. Like I really want this building. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to max out the purchase price.
Sure.
I'm going to have the citizens get as much reward for completing these as possible.
Side note here, side question for you here. Generating the money for your treasury here. I see that you've got like 245 in the treasury. Sorry, stand by. I'm struggling, but I'm getting there. You got 245 in the treasury. How hard is it to accumulate funds in your treasury? That comes from taxes and only taxes?
It only comes from taxes.
Okay.
That's a whole system that we can get into after this,
Fair
if
enough.
you like, because there's a whole bunch of sliders and stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yep. No, I'm with you on that. Okay. Maybe you and I can just look at that later.
It for every building that you build, each of the vendors and stuff on that building gets a slider. So I can physically adjust a base tax for all of like the entire node, or I can specifically set, hey, I want people that buy commodities to pay 5% more for whatever reason.
You're kidding.
Or for like the general vendor that's in the building where you buy, like you repair your gear, buy some of your potions. The one that sells the copper and the bronze gear and all that. I can set him to have a 50% tax rate, while the guys at the smithy, for example, are 10%.
Holy smokes. Wow. Okay. Sorry. That was a side note. My larger question is, like, it seems like the cost of these things is pretty low in comparison to your treasury. You know?
The cost really comes from having to build the buildings itself. So both the laboratory and the smithy cost 100 gold apiece.
Oh.
The school of construction costs 50. The upgrade we're trying to make costs 300.
Woof.
Yeah.
So this is maybe a place to save a few pennies, but if the people don't give you the stuff, you're not building it.
Exactly.
Right.
So I'm going to do what I can to, hey, I want my citizens to focus on building this. So I'm going to give them the most reward for doing it.
Sure.
Okay. Now I'm trying to play a game of mitigating how much cost it's going to be.
Got it. Now the duration, you'd prefer to keep this short, but given the fact that this is a little more reasonable now because the game is up all the time. You could go with a 3-day duration, but you're going to spend a little bit more on it, right?
So 3 days, the base, and it's going to cost the most.
Yes.
So I could do a 3-day duration, yes. However, like I've been saying, I'm going to put it to 8 because it's going to lower my cost drastically.
Mm-hmm.
And then my limiting factor will be my quantity. Okay. So we knew that I needed 120 at the minimum just to build it. Okay. Now, every week after that, it's going to take 20. So
yes. So you want to give yourself a buffer. So you wanted at least like what, $1.20 or something like that, or $1.50.
So I would put like 180, 200. Give yourself a couple weeks
Okay.
before you have to post another one.
What was the base? 120.
120.
Oh, okay. So you want at least like 180 is fine, right? And buy you a couple weeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then contribution limit, we put that to 100 because that doesn't matter.
Because who cares? Now, there was an interesting question in the chat. I think it was Chaffee that said, like, I guess you could limit the contribution if you were in maybe a system of election where you didn't want one person to be able to get all of the power. Like, I think that the node currency might be the way that you buy a election through an economic node.
Possibly. I know it's supposed to be a gold sink.
I thought it was a gold sink too, but then I found out that, or at least somebody had told me that the currency for the sink is actually node currency, which I found to be very interesting. So that might be a way that you could limit the population from, accumulating too much of the thing. Like somebody could basically buy the mayorship by filling mayoral orders. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too deep into this.
Yeah, you could be right. I don't know much about the economic node because all we've done is scientific.
Fair enough. To be determined.
Which is election based. So
right,
having somebody have a bunch of node cash isn't really harmful to me.
Certainly not at this point.
Yeah, and okay, having the contribution limit also limits like my guildies, for example. So if I only make it to where they can make like 5 of those work orders, that's also suppressing the amount of work orders that that I can have to build buildings. But also people that I want to have node cash will also be limited.
Say that again.
So the contribution limit is for like individual citizens.
Yeah.
So like if one of my if I put it to like 5, one of my guildies could only complete 5.
Right.
As well. So say we were an economic node, I guess. Would I want to limit the contribution limit so a different player couldn't steal the election from me? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my initial thought, right? Like that's the only real reason I could see for limiting this. Is just limiting the amount of node currency, and if the only thing that I can see you being able to use node currency for in the big picture is, other than the other like bonuses and things like that, but really is to buy an economic mayorship, that could very well be a thing. So that would be an interesting play. Either way. And then it raises the question, like, how do you get node currency?
Like as a mayor?
Yeah.
I can complete these orders as well.
As an individual, right?
Yep.
But you're not paid anything to be the mayor, correct?
The only thing a mayor gets is the flying mount.
Right. So you have to be a citizen out there who is able to acquire enough node currency, maybe, if that's the system, in order to win a re-election.
Yep.
Can you, at this point, trade node currency?
No.
Yeah. That was my fear, too. So there you have it. That ought to be interesting, then, for the economic system.
I would say yes. A guild can funnel you mats, so then you can...
This is fair. This is fair, because you can trade mats, right? You can't trade glint, but you can trade mats.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so there is a way...
Yep.
Yeah, so there is a way for, okay, if you were an economic node and the current mayor put the contribution limit to 100, and you want your guildie to become mayor and it costs node cash, you're going to funnel all your resources to that guildie so they can complete as many of these as possible to get as much node cash as possible.
Yes. Or you could limit it.
Or you could limit it and then have it to where the node cash is split up between an entire guild rather than one person.
Right. And then, but you yourself have to win a re-election. So you would have to fill every potential mayoral order that you possibly could.
as yourself, yes.
Yes.
However, node cash also comes from commissions as well. So completing my commissions, you'll get node cash too.
Oh. Can you limit the commissions contribution limit?
No.
Right.
So but there are some commissions that are definitely much easier to complete as a mayor than anybody else.
Oh.
There are.
I feel like we're giving away all the secrets here, Kreirian. This could be bad for us.
It's going to come out one way or another. So there's a commission out there that's the scouting commission, and it gives you a whole bunch of locations that you can go to complete
and you have
it.
a flying mount.
And you have a flying mount that goes faster than any other thing.
Yep. Love it.
Just run back and forth.
Love it. Okay. So here we are. You know that you need books. So we found two things that the chat here has decided are good uses for books, and that's ash planks and cotton bolts. So you've maxed out what you're going to reward the individual that comes through with this on. You have set the duration to max as a way to limit your expenditures, and you're measuring your real barometer here with the quantity that you're looking for, which is enough to fill the thing and give you a little cushion on the tax.
Yep.
On the maintenance, I should say. And so then you're going to go ahead and send it.
Yep. So I'll schedule the order. It gives me a confirmation.
Yep.
And it tells me how many resources I'm actually requesting.
Okay.
So it says that I'll need a total of 364 ash planks and 999 cotton bolts.
Got it.
So
Question
I will
from
then,
the chat here. Insane Axeman says, does node currency expire?
Not that I found.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it... I mean, maybe if you left and became a citizen of somewhere else, that node currency probably doesn't apply?
Currently, that is not the case.
Oh, so I could go fill a bunch of stuff in Halcyon and then run for mayor in New Ayla.
So I think it's supposed to be locked to the node that you're part of.
Sure.
But
Well,
not implemented yet.
it's a bad example anyways on my part because there's no economic node type of situation anyway. So Mio's got a great point. Like, we don't know what to do with the node currency anyways other than buy a cape. So you can get a cape. But other than that,
I think they recently added some more stuff actually.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, I think they added some level 20 gear that you can buy for no cash.
As of right now, up by your mayor building, there is an ambassador or somebody like that, and he sells a bunch of stuff with your node currency. You can get a cape. You've always been able to get a cape. Now, what I was referring to is the fact that I think that you also buy the mayorship of an economic node with node currency. I don't know if that is true, but that is what I have heard. So I'm kind of speculating on that one.
Okay, I'm not part of a citizen, so I can't even see what it sells.
That's fine. That's where you'd end up, a normal person would be able to spend stuff, get some goods, get some gear, some other stuff like that, right? You also, with node currency, have to pay your taxes. So you get tax receipts. And that is purchased through node currency. So in order to pay your taxes, you do have to do some work for
tax receipts are through Glint.
Oh, it's through Glint. Okay, so
yes. You
don't have to fill mayor commissions. You just pay the Glint, buy the tax receipts?
Yep.
Okay. So I was wrong on that. Sorry about that.
And tax receipts are based off of when you joined the node.
Okay.
So, for example, I was one of the first ones to join Neuralith. Mm-hmm. So I pay 2 tax receipts for my taxes.
And where do you buy the tax receipts?
You can buy them from the person that you became a citizen with.
Yeah, okay.
The administrator. You buy it from him.
Got it. If you fail to pay your taxes, what happens?
You lose your citizenship.
Oh, goodness. It's not good. You get deported?
It's definitely. Pretty much. But so like I said, so mine are 2 because I was the first one to join. So I think it's like 8 days, I have to pay 2 tax receipts. Huh. Somebody that joined Miraleth recently says that there is a 78.
Why?
because they joined just recently. So compared to me joining as the first person and I only have to pay 2, there is a soft cap on how many citizens can be in a node based off how much money is in your pocket.
Oh, that is fascinating. That is fascinating. So early adopters to a node have a tax advantage for staying there. And so the people that see a practice, the people that want to be like the 40th person on a bus in city transit in a very packed town are given a disincentive to stay in that town.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Very interesting. Adgron says that his has continued to go up.
Oh, so yeah, I think mine's raised to 5 now. I know they're changing the amount it costs, but it's not like drastically.
But that's an interesting
least for me,
soft
it's
cap
not
on it.
drastic.
Okay, so then you set the order details. You've already done that. You're ready to go. You're just confirming this thing, and then it gets sent out into the world. And now you're just hoping that the people fill these things.
Yeah. So you're part of the Vero Discord, I believe.
Yes.
The unofficial Vero Discord.
Oh,
you might be in there.
Yes. I don't know. That's a great question, actually. I might need an invite.
Well, I'll send it to you because okay. So there it is. Now you have it. You can post it to your chat if you like. So yeah, that's the Vero Discord. And what all the mayors are doing is under each node, as you go through the Discord, you can choose which node you're currently a citizen of. You can also get citizenship role for each of the other ones, so you can see the others. But
interesting.
What the mayors have been doing, or at least what I've been doing, is I have this order detail, right?
Uh-huh.
I see that I need 364 of the ash planks and 999 cotton bolts. I will take a screenshot of this, and I will actually post it inside the Vero Discord, telling all the citizens, I have a new work order. This is what's required.
Fascinating.
That's just what I do personally.
I like it.
I'll grab that real quick and post it.
This has been fascinating. I feel like I've learned so much. And so really this is kind of rinse and repeat. And the only real choice that you have on something like this is making sure that you don't get yourself in a financial jam by spending too much on these orders, and also making it the most likely that you can fill the orders by picking required materials that aren't a massive pain in the ass for people to get.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Well, I want to thank you. I'm probably going to wrap this up, but I came in here with the goal today to learn as much as I possibly could about the mayorship. I reached out to you this morning, you and Lloyd, because you've always been very kind and very knowledgeable, and I was not disappointed. You've been more than helpful, to say the least, and so to be able to do this little stream inception thing here was the best possible solution to asking all of these questions. Do you want to finish it with some little tax stuff here?
We can, yeah.
Yeah, let's take a quick look into the tax and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay. So the global tax rate, that's just the standard tax rates for the entire node.
Mm-hmm.
If I change this at all, you can see all the sub-sliders get changed.
Got it.
Okay.
And your minimum is 10.
Yes.
And your maximum is everyone leaves town.
Yes. I did that earlier and I'll explain why.
Okay.
Later, but
got it.
Base game is 50%. If you come to the nodes before a mayor, or if you go to Lionhold, for example, all the taxes are base 50%.
By the way, Night Possum says, I'm not suggesting that you keep getting sick, but this was a great stream. Thank you. I'm going to try not to keep getting sick. And Kruda also says that mayor is a real job, and I never want that job.
I do have to say the mount is very nice. It is a very nice benefit. It does change your gameplay completely compared to everyone else.
It does. Yeah, I could definitely see that. But like, you're working for it, man. And
yes,
how many people, this is just a side question, but how many people have complained about your mayoralship decisions?
for the first weekend, there were a lot of complaints because a lot of people didn't understand. It was mainly taxes. A lot of people didn't understand the tax system.
Okay, let's go into the tax system here.
Yeah, so so base tax, like I said, is 50%. So any taxes that are below 50% are literally a discount to everybody. If you think of it that way. So like if you go to your node now, most nodes right now are around like 30%.
Now, why do you say that's a discount? It's only a discount compared to Lionhold, right?
The nodes are already default 50%.
But that's
prior
just where
to
they
a mayor
start,
being in.
right?
Yes, so yeah, you can adjust them down to 10%.
So if every node is at 30%, then is it really a discount? Do you know what I'm saying here? Like, I'm just trying to check like whether or not I'm understanding this correctly.
If you put it into that perspective, no, it's not.
Okay.
The tax battles are a thing. You will be seeing mayor. I've seen Rive put it down to 32%, while others were at 35. Just so more people.
Do you
want
to know something interesting that I found out through testing?
What's that?
Caravans, you have the tax applied when you buy the commodity, but there is no tax applied when you sell the commodity. So if you buy something from Halcyon and drive it to Jueva, I don't know if you pronounce it Jueva or Jova. I'm just kind of like loosely saying both of them. You will buy it at a, like, let's say Halcyon is 10% and Jova is 50%. If you bought the thing at Halcyon, you'd pay a base amount plus 10%. If you buy it from Jova, you'll pay a base amount plus 50%, right?
Yep.
No matter what happens, if you drive it from Jova to Halcyon, or if you drive it from Halcyon to Jova, you will sell it for the exact same amount.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no taxes applied on the sell end of this thing.
And that's also, we'll get into it in a minute. My taxes were set to 10% because I wasn't in a rush for money or anything like that earlier. So I've been living at 10. But this also lets me adjust other sliders so we can have fun with it for a little bit.
Okay.
Now we can go into all the extra stuff.
All right.
So
I love this, by the way.
The
Kruta says this is like an actual job. This is like the job I want. I love this.
The taxes can be set for every single building. And
every element within the building.
Almost, yeah. So, like, we're use the laboratory, right? Okay. So, right now I have everything set to 10%. So, if I come over here and I chat with, like, the vendor or something, it'll be 10%.
Okay.
But if I was to adjust, say, the sales tax, right? We'll put the sales tax at 50%, just as an example. There's nobody over here, so we'll be fine.
Okay.
So that's 50%.
To buy something from him.
My vendor is now 50% tax rate.
Oh, so the vendor is a specific person on here.
Yes.
And he is selling you the things. Got it. So you've changed the tax rate of that vendor. Now there's the service tax rate below that.
Yes, service tax rate is for the stations. So the station
so if you went
itself,
to the station, it would say the tax rate on the station, right? Or maybe it doesn't.
It doesn't say the tax rate. However, you can tell by the cost. So like, okay, so this Constitution Scroll as a 10% costs 55 copper.
Okay.
If I was to adjust the service tax to like 50%, that goes up to 75.
Holy crap. So you don't actually know what the tax rate is. You have to reverse engineer it.
Yep.
Well, that's sneaky. That's a way to sneak in taxes.
Yes. Taxation without representation.
That's exactly. They threw tea into the ocean because of this.
Yes. So, a big example too is you know about the Dark Omen mount, right?
No.
So inside the black market,
Okay.
You can buy a special mount.
Now, does every place
That-
have a black market?
Yes, currently every place has a black market.
Okay.
You can buy the Ebb and Open.
Okay.
It's a base 165% mount speed. I know you can get a right around that speed or above it from tier 2 animal husbandry,
Okay.
depending on quality. But as of this moment, like before we got tier 2 animal husbandry, the fastest mount you could get was the Ebb and Open, which was 36 gold at 10%. 36 gold being changed on a tax rate is very massive.
Yes, it is. That is enormous. And so I assume that on your little slider, there is somewhere for a black market, right?
So there is a goods tax rate. So the goods tax rate here, for if I do marketplace, it'll change this vendor's marketplace tax.
So it'll change the marketplace and the black market.
Yes. I can also change how much gold it costs for you to upgrade the storage.
Holy crap.
So if you want more storage spots and Miraleth, I could put it to 100% and you wouldn't know because it doesn't tell you. So instead of paying 5 gold to get your...
These are sneaky taxes.
So yeah, so instead of paying 5 gold as a bait, it's on 10% to upgrade your storage, I can make it like 12.
Interesting. Now, some of the people in the chat here, Axeman and Night Possum, have said, well, Axeman says it's an instant change. And so Night Possum says, too bad you can't single out a rival guild. I'm just speculating here, but like, if you wanted to, you could set a time within your guild and say, hey, everybody that's in here, there's a lot of people in town and we got too many people and we want to get these people out of here. So I don't want anybody to buy anything in the next 2 hours. Otherwise, you're going to pay a ton in taxes. And you just crank the hell out of everything. And then you let everyone know when you're going to take it down and you just take it down immediately because it's an instant change.
So remember that instance where I said I put the tax to 100% yesterday?
Yes.
So yesterday...
Was this an EPH thing?
So yesterday, EPH, when we declared war on them, they went from Steel Bloom and took their entire raid and ran to Miraleth. And they were killing everybody inside Miraleth. I raised the taxes to 100% so they couldn't repair their armor.
Hell yeah.
I am fighting an economic war here, ladies and gentlemen.
I love it. This you're a man. You're a man after my own heart. You will get more appreciation from me than you will out of JB or Cash because my appreciation for that is at max level. That is 100. That is 100% appreciation for that. That's brilliant. Nice work.
So I did send out an announcement to everybody that...
Oh yeah, you gotta let people know you're gonna do that.
Oh yeah, no. So there's Citizen Chat, right? You've seen. So I told everyone in Citizen Chat that that they were coming, so people could run away without getting murdered, and also that I was raising the taxes to 100%. So don't buy anything.
That is amazing. Nice work. Man, I've learned so much. I want to thank all the people that were in the chat today that were asking questions and watching this thing. I mean, like, what an amazing stream. Thank you so much for giving me a call and sending me the things and then, just frankly explaining literally everything to me. It was great.